I got nothing to worry about when you're by my side.
Gonna give an update on what's happened since we've been in Florida. Last thing I said was we were literally just heading to Florida, going straight to the hospital. It ended up being, we left like Wednesday afternoon from Greenville, South Carolina, and then drove to St. Petersburg, Florida, and got there around 1:30. Came in and told them the situation, and then when they came in to monitor me, it was kind of crazy. We got here and his heartbeat was totally fine. There was nothing wrong. He had no issues with his heart. They were kind of in shock of what all happened, that the fact that the hospital we were at kind of just sent us home with this expectation that we were going to have a stillbirth. It's crazy. Also, Chip is going to get food. That's why he's not here right now. I've been waiting like all day to film this out of the room, getting us some food, just because we've had so many doctors and nurses come in today. So my days are all mixed up. This was all yesterday morning when we got there and everything. They were kind of shocked, honestly. Not even kind of shocked. They were shocked that Sam was even alive from us telling them that his heart rate was, one day it was at a 61 and the next day it was at a 64. They were thinking he shouldn't have even lived a few hours after having that kind of heart rate. Yeah, honestly, on the way to Florida, I didn't put this in the video because I didn't want to be morbid or cause myself to cry anymore, but we were told to figure out what we wanted to do if he passed or if we had a stillborn. So we were told, thinking about, okay, what do you want to do if he's stillborn? Do you want to bury the body? Do you want him to be cremated? Do you want to bury him in South Carolina? Do you want to bury him in Alabama? Because that's where we're originally from, and that's where all of my family is in Alabama. Chip's family too, and we just were having to make his death plan. That's what we were having to do. So anyways, we were literally planning his death on the way here, which sounds so morbid, but we were trying to do that so that later on, if that's what happened, we wouldn't have to make those decisions and it would just be already made for us. Decisions on if we wanted to see him, if we wanted to take pictures of him, how long we wanted to see him, which is really sad to think about. We planned it and then got to the hospital and his heart rate was great. So yeah, everything looked good. They weren't sure what to tell me what to do because it was looking good and his heart looked great, so they didn't know if they really needed to monitor me or not. So they felt really good in just sending us home, that we were fine, and we felt great. So we ended up being discharged, and we were in shock. Literally, God did a miracle in his heart rate going up, and so it's just crazy. They were shocked that he was even alive. So that was insane. And then we ended up getting a hotel. I think it was like 4 in the morning, 4 or 4:30 in the morning. We finally got a hotel. Went and slept for about 3 hours. Got up, went and got some breakfast. Had just like a fun day. We'll just enjoy our time. So we walked by the beach, walked by the pier, did all this stuff. The doctor here likes to take the moms that have CDH, they like to go ahead and have them here at 34 weeks, because if for some reason there was an emergency C-section, that's when they can survive off ECMO and everything. So we were already planning on being down here at around 34 weeks. So we're like, we'll just go ahead and check out the area, see what's around, so that we kind of know the area when we get down here. We were emotionally exhausted from everything, from going from thinking that he was not gonna make it to he's fine and they don't really know what happened. Anyways, it's just not like the most normal situation, and this doesn't happen to them often, where like heart rate decel and then just like stay consistent at like a very low range. In the middle of the night last night, I wasn't feeling him move, and normally at night he keeps me up at night. Like, he normally moves so much that I have a really hard time sleeping at night because he's just so squirmy and he kicks so hard normally. So last night he wasn't really moving much and I was concerned, and normally if I like poke my belly or push my belly in some way, he pushes back. I did that for about 10 minutes and he wasn't moving. He finally moved, but it wasn't a huge move, and I was like, it's okay, like this is all in my head, like he's fine. I thought about waking up Chip, but then I was like, you know, I think he's fine. We just got checked out early this morning and he's fine. So then it was the next morning. Chip, we were getting ready to go, and Chip looked at me and he was like, are you okay? And I just said, I think we need to go get checked out again. I just still don't feel good. I don't feel good about leaving. I didn't know if it was just me feeling nervous about going back home and worrying if this was all gonna happen again. I honestly, though, felt a nudge from the Holy Spirit that we needed to go get checked on. Even though I'm like, surely it's nothing, I just think we need to go get checked again. So he was like, okay, I'll call immediately. He was so sweet. Chip's like the best. As soon as I said that, he said, okay, we'll call, we'll go right now. The nurse was like, just calm down, just get some breakfast and come in and it'll be fine. So we got some food, came in, and once we got here, they were all like, oh my gosh, we heard about you guys and like your situation, because it's such like a funny situation and like these things don't happen often. They all had heard from like the night shift before about us and like our story and everything, and how we drove from South Carolina and everything. They've all been so sweet, by the way. The people here are incredible. Anyways, I'm trying to like condense this because a lot happened in a short amount of time, and we were frantic. It was crazy. So we got here, put us in triage. They were gonna do the same test again, weren't thinking anything was wrong, and then our nurse came in and was like, oh yeah, I've heard about you guys the other night, you know, yesterday. Then she put the heart monitor on me, and one, he wasn't moving, and two, as soon as she found his heart rate, it was at a 73, so it was low again. Immediately they were like scrambling, trying to prep me for a C-section. Like, that's what happened. There were so many nurses and their doctors, anesthesiologists, MFM doctors coming in to get everything situated. They put an IV in immediately, gave me a shot in my leg. It was like a steroid shot that they do with all their CDH babies and mamas. It was terrifying. I was so scared at first. I was like, they're just checking, they're just nervous because it's low. I understand like that's nerve-wracking because it's so low. But anyways, my nurse was incredible because she was telling all the people that were coming in to explain to me I was about to have a C-section. She was telling them, wait, like this is something that happened literally yesterday. Like there's something about this baby that it goes up and it comes back, like it comes down, and then it could possibly go up again. So she was trying to not risk the fact that if we had a C-section, there's like a 95% chance that he wouldn't have made it, if not higher. There's just such a small chance for CDH babies to make it before 34 weeks. So pretty much they were telling me like, gonna have a C-section and gonna try to like help him and keep him living, but there's a huge chance that he's not gonna make it. So it was like a whole thing. Like, they pretty much gave us 5 minutes, or they said, you need to decide now, like if you're okay with us doing a C-section or what you want us to do, because this right now you have to tell us what you want us to do. And me and Chip just looked at each other, and I was like, I don't know if I can make that decision. Like, the fact that he's probably not going to make it if we have a C-section, of course I don't want to do that, but like if his heart rate is so low, then like what's the best for him? But I was like, can we just hold on a few minutes? Can we just wait a few minutes? Because I asked them if they'd give me 5 minutes to decide, and I kept telling them, I said, I really don't want to do it because this just happened. This just happened the other day. One tip, if you are CDH parent or mom or anything, any kind of information you got from a doctor, like at our other hospital, we have a thing called My Chart where all the notes from all the ultrasounds, all the echocardiograms that we've had are on there. And I keep it handy, either take pictures of it and just have it in a file in your phone, or have your chart available so quickly, because this was like an emergency thing, and it was faster for me to bring that out and show them what the echocardiogram showed 2 weeks ago about his heart versus them getting the records, scrambling to try to get the records. It was just so much faster. So I would suggest that. That was a huge thing that helped. So one of the doctors were like, do you have your chart on hand? And I just pulled out my phone and like showed it to them. They read everything. They read that he had a likely VSD, which is like a hole in the heart that is pretty serious, but no other issues along the heart that would cause his heart rate to fluctuate extremely. Yeah, so I gave them all that information, and one of the doctors were so incredible and told me that while we were waiting to decide, she was going to give me a shot in my arm. I'll put right here what it was. It was a terb something, I think. She gave me a shot so it could raise his heart rate. It was going to raise mine too, and she told me I was probably going to get the shakes. And I did. I was shaking like crazy, like probably within 5 minutes of her doing that. I just couldn't tell them and answer what we wanted to do. I couldn't say yes, but I felt guilty to say no. I felt like, is this me not giving my baby a chance? Like, is he just gonna die in the next few minutes if I don't choose to have a C-section? Like, it was really nerve-wracking. And the reason why they were extremely quick to want me to make this decision, because that's what happens when you have a low heart rate like that. When they normally see a low heart rate, that's what they do, emergency C-section. And because normally the baby dies within minutes of having this kind of heart rate. After we got the shot, 5 minutes later, his heart rate went to normal. I mean, I'm talking went to normal as the anesthesiologist was telling me how they were going to, we're going to put you out completely to where you're not going to be awake at all. They were literally telling me all this. I'm crying, like trying to figure out what we're going to do. Like, okay, we're about to have a C-section. Holy cow. I don't know. Then the doctor came in that gave me the shot, and she was like, his heart rate's level. It's good. It's good. We can take a minute. You can breathe. It's okay. She had to tell the whole team outside, like, it's good. It was crazy. So I'm so thankful God allowed my nurse and us to just have this nudging of like, this isn't normal. He doesn't need a C-section. Because my nurse that officially started everything kept telling them, kept saying, I don't know if she needs a C-section. This might be something where in a few minutes or even so long it could go up again. This is what happened yesterday to them. Anyways, it was insane. It was terrifying for a little bit, but I'm so thankful we did not have to have a C-section, and I don't blame them at all for wanting to do the C-section. Like, that's a terrifying rate to see as like a nurse and a doctor. That's what you do. You get the baby out for any chance of survival. So I don't blame them at all for thinking that. This is a really weird situation that does not ever happen. Like, none of the doctors have ever seen this where a baby's heart rate fluctuates like that constantly. So yeah, I continued to have the shakes for a little bit, but everything is good. Sam's good. He's been stable since this morning, and it's like almost 8 o'clock. So then they got a cardiologist to come in. Normally they just do appointments, but they got him to come in, do an echocardiogram again on him, and he said it's crazy. His heart looks great. He does have a VSD, so that's going to be something that once he's born we'll have to deal with, but it's not something now that should be changing his heart rate so much. So he was like, he's doing great. He said, I would not do anything. I would not do a C-section right now. This might just be something this baby does where his heart rate just goes up and down, and he says it might be an anomaly. Like, that's just what he does. That's something that is normal for him. He said the fact that when it decels, it stays at a consistent rate. It doesn't continue to decel. It only goes to like 60 to 70 and doesn't get any lower than that. He said, for that reason, I'm not as nervous about your baby, about his heart, about the fact that his heart is doing this. He said, I don't think there's any reason why you need a C-section, but I think that was everything that he said. He checked for a while on Sam, and so feel really good with what they had to say. But they moved us to a room, and they wanted to keep me overnight until tomorrow, continue to monitor me. So I still have my IV in to where if they have to come in and give me other things, which the nurse said she was about to switch it out. So after the cardiologist left and after he did the echocardiogram, my doctor came back in and like actually read a verse over us and was so amazing, and I'm so thankful for her. She was like incredible. She was out trying to make it to where we didn't have a C-section. She was trying to figure out everything to make it to where they could stabilize him so that we wouldn't have a C-section. So thankful for that doctor for being there, for making that decision to do the shot that caused his heart rate to go up. She just looked at me and I knew we were both thinking the same thing. I told her, I said, I'm just letting you know, I didn't even really ask Chip this. I just looked at him and he just like was shaking his head like, yeah, like he knew what I was gonna say without me even having to say anything. And I told her, I said, we're gonna stay here. I don't feel good in going back to Greenville, especially with all these complications and it just being like unsure of what's really going on. I'd rather be somewhere close that they know Sam's condition, understand what just all happened this week, and I want to be where I can be really close, and if something happens, I can be right here. I'm planning on 27 weeks. We weren't planning on moving here until 32 or 34 weeks, and I'm gonna go ahead and plan on staying. I'll be doing checkups and everything here weekly, and it just feels so much better to be in a place where they know what's going on versus where we were, where they just sent us home telling us to expect a stillborn. Like, we just feel so much better in that. Or my camera died, so anyways, Chip's back. He got us some dinner, we ate. The nurse is about to come in and do some more checks on me and everything, and I'll update y'all, I guess, if anything else happens. I'll let you guys. 26, 27 week, I guess, little update. But this is what he looks like, what I look like. They let me put my regular clothes on. This is way more comfortable. So yeah, we're just kind of here waiting to see if everything is still good with him. So I think so. Chip's just chilling over there. I didn't really show the room, but there's the bathroom and the desk, and there's a bed, and there's a window.
Yeah, show her. Oh no, you might not even be able to see the view outside.
You can't. It's like so dark. You can see the reflection of the room. You can't really see all the other stuff. And yeah, we're gonna be here till tomorrow. So yeah, we'll check back in later.
I got nothing to worry about when you're by my side.